What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? Let us fire it up. I'm going to get so owned in this game. It's time that we get to the Steam Top 50 and seeing what the latest trends are. Gary's mod. There's TF2. It's usually around somewhere. Oh, it's snakes. Does it just have really high retention? This genre is still viable. Or you just gotta shoot his butt. There was kind of a trend for a while. Like that is just the way things work. We did it! Welcome back to the Clark Tank. It has been a busy 3 weeks. Lots of things going on. For us here at Brace Yourself Games, a lot of things have transpired since we last spoke. There was GDC, and then the day after that, on the Wednesday, we announced both Cadence of Hyrule and that Industries of Titan would be coming exclusively to the Epic Store. And then I flew straight to Boston to go to PAX East, and we had a killer new booth and some new demos of both Industries of Titan and Phantom Brigade to show off. And now we're back in Vancouver, working hard on Cadence of Hyrule so that everybody can have it. So yeah, there's there's a lot to discuss today. We're also going to play Risk of Rain 2, which is like doing insanely well on Steam. So let's get things started. So yeah, first, I guess I already mentioned it. The Independent Game Summit happened on the 18th and 19th, which was fun and got a lot of good feedback from attendees that the content was really good. I heard from quite a few people that they appreciated the mix of like beginnery stuff and more advanced stuff. It's always a difficult balancing act trying to make sure that we get, stuff that older experienced indies will still get value out of, but that also won't be totally, useless to people who are just starting out. So stay tuned. I think it's usually the summertime when the call for submissions goes out. So please submit. We can always use more awesome speakers who start thinking about what you're going to do now. And if you ever want any tips on how to submit or things like that, drop me a message on the Twitters or on the email. I've thought about doing an article talking about like what types of things we look for. So if I have time this summer, I'll try to do that. And yeah, the big news, this game we call Cadence of Hyrule. There's a limited amount of stuff I'm going to say about the game. It's still not out, so a lot of it remains top secret. But I did want to watch the trailer with y'all, and we can talk about trailer design, the types of things that we did in this trailer, and some of our other trailers. So why don't we do that first? I'll talk about it in just a minute. We'll just watch it first. The trailer never gets tiring. I am glad to hear it. We all worked extremely hard on it for sure. So Colgan is saying, did I bend my no logo rule at the start by saying from the creators of? I suppose. Although this is a little different than the usual logo that most indies do. They usually do their company logo. And often people don't know your company. They'll know your game. A lot of people know Crypto the Necrodancer, that's for sure, but not as many know the name Brace Yourself Games. So I think as soon as Necrodancer fans saw this, they'd be like, oh man, what's going to happen? Like some Necrodancer sequel or something is coming, right? And there are millions of folks out there who've bought the game, so we thought that was a good way to start it. So yeah, we at the beginning, I guess we should talk about, our goal with the trailer was to obviously show that, hey, there's a new Necrodancer game. Cadence is back. You hear Elspeth's awesome voice right at the beginning. We show some crypty sort of things. It just looks like, hey, this is kind of like the crypt. Dirt walls, some less breakable walls, skeleton with a shield. It's all standard sort of Necrodancy things. But then
almost out of this crypt. But this isn't the world I remember.
Starting to tease stuff. So, the goal was to build up towards the reveal, and we didn't want to give away the Zelda surprise too early. So, we tried to, at least at this beginning, we didn't really show any enemies or anything that was not in Necrodancer.
I have help.
So we built up with the music being much more familiar Zelda music. Also, the shopkeeper belting it out to try to, make it feel more emotional. And yeah, we always try to design things so that the dialogue builds up as well, and punches you with some emotional hit right when the music peaks. It seems like it works. So yeah, just this is the same sort of thing that we've done with our other Necrodancer trailers. If you go back and watch those, you'll see that we have a build up with the voiceover, the dialogue, and then we try to time it with a musical punch at the same time. Yeah, I'm not able to talk about too much more than what is revealed in the trailer. The game's coming in the spring, as you can see at the end. So yeah, thank you all for your support and your retweets and things like that. I think the original tweet had like 20,000 retweets, and this trailer has over 1 million views, which is pretty nuts. But there was another announcement that we made that very same day. It was also announced that Industries of Titan is coming to the Epic Store exclusively for 12 months. Bringing the Industries of Titan to the Epic Store, the reason we did it is because we are able to, spend some more resources, some more time on the game, making it the best game that it can possibly be, thanks to the support from Epic. So it's going to early access on the Epic Store, and then 12 months later, it's going to come to other platforms. And yeah, as there has been with other games that have come exclusively to the Epic Store, there's some folks that weren't too happy about it, and I can understand why. It is convenient to have all of your games in one place on the Steam store. It is a bit of a hassle to deal with another store. I know that there have been people who've said that there's like spyware or whatnot going on with the Epic Store, which I don't believe. There's definitely a lot of information out there to refute that. And there's some valid criticisms of the store doesn't have as many features and things like that as the Steam store does. But Epic does have a public roadmap where they're showing all the features and stuff that they're working on. So, I do believe that it's going to get better and better. And by the time Titan launches, there's going to be a lot more. There's going to be a lot more there. So yeah, that was the big news from us during the GDC week, and then I flew straight to Boston, and we set up our giant new booth that has both Industries of Titan and Phantom Brigade. On one side we got Industries of Titan, the other side we got Phantom Brigade. And yeah, this booth was organized by Cindy, who works here at Brace Yourself Games. She runs all our events and stuff like that, and our new friends at Southwest Displays. If you are ever in the market for a booth, these folks were so good to work with. They did a really good job designing it and setting it up for us, and then they were on site helping us with any issues and things like that. It was really, really good working with them. I highly recommend them for sure. They also, they showed up, shipped it there, assembled it, made sure everything was running well, and were on site, if we needed help, and then disassembled it afterwards and shipped it. So yeah, if you're ever interested in doing something like this, let us know, and we will do an intro with Southwest Displays. Also, this all the art and stuff here, it's all fabric that can be reprinted. So in the future, when we have other games, we can change this, this header and these things here and these things here to show different games. So it was a significant upfront cost to create the booth. But reskinning it and reusing it, shipping it and setting it up again and stuff like that, it's much more affordable. So it's upfront cost, but then we're going to get a lot of value out of it as we use it over and over again. Do we track any metrics to know whether booth costs are worth it? Well, yeah, that's one of the things I wanted to discuss. So there's a bunch of different things that you get out of demoing. Obviously, you get some awareness. Fans are coming by. They're going to remember the game, hopefully, if they enjoyed it, and buy it later. But if you count the number of people that can come through, low thousands, I think, of people through. Maybe it's hundreds. If you're optimistic with your conversion rates of, how many people are going to play it and then go on to buy it, it's still not quite going to cover your costs. Maybe getting close. But then you do also get a lot of other advantages, like this link here is of some folks from Waypoint who covered Industries of Titan. They were pretty excited about it. We also had some other streamers and stuff like that who came by and were really excited about it. So, of course, you'll get more awareness via press and things like that. But there's other intangible things, like we are hiring right now. Now more people are aware of us as a company because of that booth. More. We also, we have 3 teams, and the Phantom Brigade team joined Brace Yourself Games, and that probably wouldn't have happened if they didn't already know about us from Necrodancer, right? So these sorts of things snowball. The more people that know about us as a company, the more indies, the more developers, the more fans, the more press, the more opportunities are going to come to us in the future. Everything that happens, it looks like, oh, that was good luck that, this team was available and wanted to join at this time, or this person, or that this project came up, and things like that. All of them are good luck, for sure. But, if every one of them is, 1,000 to 1 shot or something like that, but you put out 10,000 attempts, then 10 of them are on average going to come back to you. I also don't do these Clark tanks because I think, I'm gonna get some direct return from it, other than what we actually learn here, on the show. But, I think the more that you are visible and the more that you help other folks, the more that sort of stuff can come back to you, which is why I love working in this industry, especially as an indie, because it's a non-zero-sum game. Like, if you help other people, it's not harming you. And in fact, they're more likely to then help you in the future. And you can just go around genuinely making friends and just trying to help people, never, thinking, all right, I'm going to go and meet that person because they know this person and maybe I'll get them to introduce me or something. You don't even need to do that. You just go out, make friends, help people, do things that help other folks in the industry, and that's going to help you too in the long run. I feel really lucky that this is how the industry is, and I've worked in other industries that were not like this, where people had to be secretive, and they kept things to themselves. And there was people that you would see at conferences, but they wouldn't tell you the stuff that they're working on. They wouldn't give you tips about distributors or whatever. And I know that it is an advantage. We started doing these sorts of things years ago. I started my career back in 2004, and I've been trying to be, as visible and as helpful and whatnot as I can since then. And it definitely is a snowball. Think about what your advantages are, and try to do what you can to leverage them, because there's a lot of ways that you can use whatever you're good at to help other folks and to get yourself out there, and to start building up your snowball too. On a less expensive approach, hanging out in the Game Dev subreddit, yeah, for sure. There's plenty of things that you can do online, especially if you're not in a location where it's easy to travel to shows, or if you're not able to afford to travel to shows. And Rami is doing a new online conference. It's going to be like 24 hours. It's going to be localized, translated into tons of different languages, basically because of this sort of thing. Because there's people like me and like him that have the privilege that we can travel and go to all of these shows, and not everybody can afford to do that. Not everybody speaks English, and we at Brace Yourself Games are going to sponsor that. And hopefully you folks follow and take part, submit talks, but also watch. Not everyone has the advantages that we have, and yeah, it's a great thing that they're doing to try to help all those folks that don't have those advantages. Great Pixel saying working with hard constraints can be professionally very stimulating. Yeah, that's actually another thing I meant to say about PAX. Another benefit of demoing is that it gives you a deadline to work towards, and being indie is. One of the advantages is that we don't have a publisher or whatever telling us you have to ship now. So that means we could extend our development for as long as we have the money in the bank. We could do that. So I think that having demos helps us to not just develop forever, because we do have to. We broaden. You're like, oh, all right, we're exploring everything that the game can be, but then you have to focus when it comes time to demo the games as well. So. The play testing, we hit, 1,000 people played the game. We got a lot of valuable information out of that. Also, it's like motivating to see people get so excited about the game. So people were so pumped about Titan and about Phantom Brigade. So our friend Eric Johnson wrote a pretty sweet article here, deep dive into Steam's discovery queue. So if it's saying that you're being shown a game because it's popular, that may not necessarily be the number one reason. Because if you know about machine learning, just like anything in your brain as well, your neurons are connected to billions of other neurons. When they choose to fire, it's because of the sum of the excitement they receive from lots of other neurons. So any neural network, it's going to be like, well, it's partly because of this tag and this one, these 10 tags, also because it's selling well, also because of these and that. But you can't say 100 things to somebody, we're showing this to you in your discovery queue because of a million things. That is not, no one's going to read that, and it's not going to be very useful. So instead, it probably does some kind of, it may even be reverse machine learning, like post hoc rationalization, which is what our human brains do, of why it came up with that response. Yeah, I'm not sure if their current algorithm is neural network based, but even if it's not, it's probably still a million different weights from a bunch of different things. And how do you boil that down to, one reason? It's good to know because, yeah, it did seem a little weird. Like, why is it that, 40-something% are saying because it's popular? It shouldn't be showing me, that much stuff because I'm not really the type of person who just plays popular games. I'm the kind that likes the niche indie games. So showing me the popular stuff is bad for me. Well, maybe that's not actually what it's doing. It may be still showing you the niche indie games that it thinks you want. But it's just describing it as because it's popular, because that's the closest, reasonable reason it could come up with. And speaking of Valve, they announced some stuff at GDC. So yeah, changes coming to the store. I'm looking forward to checking that out. It also sounds like they're adding an events system. Looks like you as a Steam consumer can look at an events page and just see, for all your games, or maybe all the ones that you're following, what's going on with them, which is pretty neat. Valve, they listen, man, and they are trying to do stuff to make it better for us and to make it better for fans, and I really appreciate that. Like, a big thing that indies have been asking for a long time is I want to be able to communicate more directly with my fans, because now we don't have as much of a direct connection to our fans anymore on Steam. And so I think this is Valve, trying to help out with that to make it so that we can connect with them in new ways, which is great. But yeah, my one slight concern with this, I do think that it's really positive overall. Steam already is somewhat biased just because of the way that it works. I'm not sure if the algorithm itself actually tries to surface games that have high retention, or if it's just that pop-up doing its job. But Steam already rewards games that are either highly replayable or updated a lot. This might skew things, a little bit even further in that direction. And yeah, Necrodancer is highly replayable. The other games that we're working on are highly replayable, so I don't think this is going to affect us. But I do have concern for, smaller games, narrative games that are, a few hours long, games, puzzle games where you play it and it's over. Those ones might, see reduced, proportion of the eyeballs on Steam because of stuff like this. So I hope that Valve's keeping an eye on that sort of thing and, skewing the algorithm a little bit to make it so that those games, maybe get a few more eyeballs to compensate, because I do think it's good for the ecosystem that we have a variety of games on the store, that's a variety of PC games that sell. The co-founders of Humble Bundle stepped down, which was a big shock. So looking forward to what they do in the future, and thanks to them for what they did for the industry. They supported a lot of really great initiatives, and they've done a lot of good. So thank you both for doing that, and they raised a ton of money for charities. Yeah, they have over 400,000 subscribers, so the amount of money that they are able to offer to indies, to put it in the Humble subscription, it's just going up and up because of the number of subscribers that they have. And I brought this up just because I wanted to talk about how it's a good time to be in indie these days. Indiepocalypse, I've talked about that before, how I disagree with it somewhat, especially if you compare to how it was back in 2004 when I started. The current ecosystem seems way better than that. And I suppose, yeah, it may be slightly more difficult than it was in 2012 or 2013 or something, but there's a lot of positives. If you're just starting out, it may be harder to access those sorts of funds. But if you have a great demo and you've been showing it off and getting traction online, there is definitely a lot going on these days. And also, this is all the more reason why you should, try to go to conventions and be involved if you can, because that's where you can meet folks and make contacts that might allow you to make deals that help fund your games if that's the sort of thing that you're looking for. So yeah, this is the ICO Steam Newsletter. So this is a newsletter you can sign up for. Just Google search for ICO Steam Newsletter. Comes out every week, and what they do is they talk about the new releases and they rank them by review count, but also unheard. This was extremely interesting.
Good idea.
It's interesting gameplay. So I guess it's like a mystery game
Anniversary of Emily's death.
where you're trying to figure out what's going on, and you do it by listening to people in different rooms. It looks kind of like a board game, doesn't it? But it's just crazy to me that this game has sold so well. You saw it was like over 2,000 reviews in just, a week or so. So, its success could certainly be because its mechanic is so good and so unique that it has really grabbed people. But this game, as far as I'm aware, is created by a Chinese studio. And we have seen that with some other games, that games developed in China get a ton of support from people in China, which is really cool. It's cool to see them supporting their local devs. Yeah, it's really interesting. But since we're not, developers in China, we probably can't expect to, have these sorts of results in China. But we should keep paying attention to it, and hopefully, at some point we'll learn, how is it spreading in China? How is the word getting out? Because maybe it's possible that we could, also get the word out about our Chinese localized games in a similar way and reach those audiences too. All right, let's check out Tropico 6, and then we'll move on. Yeah, it seems good. I'm not sure, how different it is from the previous ones. Why would you be hyped for this if you had number 5 or something like that? But again, that's part of the sequel discussions. Which, hey, Risk of Rain 2. Why don't we watch this, then talk about the sequels? One of our favorite things to talk about. I bet this would be fun to play with buddies. Is it 3 people making Risk of Rain 3? Well, yeah. So this proves, again, you don't need a giant team in order to make a really, really successful game that's going to sell in the tens of millions of dollars. I don't really understand why companies, indie companies, I've seen some that staff up to, like 30 or 40 people on one game. There's certain types of games that you can't make, I suppose, without a really large team. So if it's your desire to make such a game, then I can understand why you would do that. But, if you are excited about smaller games, and if you already know how to run a small team, then, staying small is just fine. Minecraft was mostly originally made by one person, and it makes billions of dollars. The limitation on how successful you can be is not the size of your team. It's, the quality of your ideas, the uniqueness of your ideas, how valuable they are to the current audience, the current zeitgeist, and things like that. That's our strategy at Brace Yourself Games, is we have more teams. We have 3.5. We're prototyping another one, and we're making those other 3 games, and they're all pretty small teams. Indies who grow for growth's sake make you sad. Well, I think we've grown to multiple teams, and it's definitely not for growth's sake. I'm not sure if I've talked about this much before on the Clark Tank, but part of the reason we wanted to do it, to grow to multiple teams, is because then you can support people, like having a full-time video producer, like having Marlon on our team is so extremely valuable. The stuff that we've been able to pull off because he's here, it's amazing. And also, Danny Baranowski is now full-time with us here in Vancouver, and we have full-time, people helping with events and community stuff and office management and QA and financial controls and stuff like that. So that, I can spend more time helping with games and things like that, and less time running the accounting side of the business and whatnot. So we benefit a lot from having a bit more scale, but we just didn't want to have large teams to scale that way, so we have multiple teams. But yeah, Risk of Rain 2, why do you think that this has done so well as a sequel? I'd love to see what you think in chat. Strax saying releasing with the 2-for-1 deal was smart. Yes, so that you can play with your friends immediately. But yeah, obviously this game is not the same. Even if you played the first one, this gameplay is not that different, but it's 3D. As soon as it's 3D, you're like, well, that's going to feel quite different, of course. But yeah, the fact that they didn't make a direct sequel is good. They obviously had a big fan base, a big following already. But also that first game, I saw a ton of streamers play that. So again, when we were talking previously about Darkest Dungeon 2, and why did that trailer get so much hype and stuff like that, even though that game is so hard that a lot of people don't beat it, Risk of Rain may be similar in that a lot of people might not beat it, and Necrodancer, again, also similar. But a big difference between Necrodancer and Darkest Dungeon is that Darkest Dungeon, tons of people streamed it, got really good numbers when they were streaming it, whereas I think Necrodancer is a harder one to stream. The numbers were not as good. It's not as easy for other people to understand. But Risk of Rain, a lot of people streamed it, and I think as soon as this came out, I'm sure a lot of streamers jumped on because they knew they had great numbers and they enjoyed it. And those streamers finished it. When you're playing a certain game and you're enjoying it, why wouldn't you play the heck out of it and totally complete it? So it doesn't really matter how hard it is for streamers, because they're going to play and play and play until they finish it off. So, all right, so let's do our homework at last. Check out the Steam Top 50. So CS:GO is usually around PUBG. Not surprising. So Sekiro, man, so many people talking about Sekiro online, the difficulty and stuff like that. 2-for-1 deal makes a lot more sense than 50% sale. Oh yeah, it does for sure. Especially because when you do a 50% sale, you're going to see on those sales tracking charts, on those sales tracking websites, like, oh, this game was already on sale for 50%. And then if you do a sale for 25%, they'll just be like, no, that's not a big enough discount. I'm going to wait for something larger. Whereas the giveaway thing, that doesn't show up on those. So it's not going to taint your future sales. It's pretty crazy. So Borderlands up here because it's on sale. Monster Hunter on sale. Warframe is usually around here. Rainbow Six is on sale. Total War Warhammer. Why is this back up here? It's usually not this high. Did they put out a DLC or something like that? It doesn't look like it was recently on sale. This one's a bit surprising. Elder Scrolls Online. It's on sale. It's usually somewhere in the charts anyway. Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. Okay, so this was in early access before, right? Pretty sure it was. And so it just 1.0 recently. Not too surprising then. Totally Accurate Battle Simulator has 200,000 followers. Holy smokes. Borderlands Game of the Year edition is coming out soon. So these are pre-orders. Tropico 6. So Tropico is doing reasonably well. I do think that this genre is still viable. Obviously, that's why we're making Industries of Titan a somewhat similar genre. I would have thought it might have been a little higher in the charts, but it's doing about what I would expect. Especially because, again, it's a sequel not super different from previous sequels. However, this does seem like it's a genre where somewhat similar sequels can continue to thrive, especially games like Civ. Outward. It looked pretty cool. So yeah, not surprising to see it do as well. Doing well as well. Borderlands, so there's a lot of Borderlands stuff going on, a lot of Borderlands sales right now. Dead by Daylight's on sale. Dead by Daylight had something going on at PAX as well. I'm not sure if they announced new things or something occurring. Crusader Kings, why are you up here? This is weird. Did they put out a new DLC? It's dropping off, so it's possible that it was just on sale and now it's ended. GTA 5 is usually around here. Anno, so this is pre-orders for Anno coming out in a couple of weeks. So yeah, that's good news for people who are making games in this genre like us. It's good to see that, you know, even during pre-orders, they're already in the charts. That's cool. So yeah, I generally think about the doing pre-orders or not as somewhat similar to whether or not you want to do multiple press pushes before your game launches. You have to try to estimate, like, how much hype do I have? How much juice do I have? How many bullets do I have to, you know, shoot, to spend? And if you think, like for a press, for example, if you think that the press will pay attention to the announcement of your launch date and the actual launch, then you probably should do both, because then you get 2 bursts of press. But if you think that your game is not noteworthy enough to get 2 bursts or more, then you should probably focus it all on your launch, and because that's when, you know, the eyeballs matter most, because people can buy it right away. Similar with launching on Steam. I feel like, and I'm, you know, this is just my gut feel. I don't have any info from Valve to corroborate this, but I do feel like it is good to spike up. You get a bit of extra viz being at the top of or near the top of the top sellers chart. So if you think you have enough juice to spike to number 1, even despite doing pre-orders for weeks or months or something like that, then sure, do it. But if you don't think that you'll get to number 1, if you do that, I would wait. I would save all of your energy for that day 1 launch and hope to climb the charts as much as you can on that first day. Also, it sounds like there's some extenuating circumstances here because of the fact that it will soon be exclusive to the Epic Store. So So yeah, I guess that would incentivize people to be getting it now if they really are keen on having it on Steam. Super Dragon Ball Heroes World Mission. This is not doing super well considering high profile this IP is. Innovative card game. Oh, neat. So it's like Pokemon with Dragon Ball people. $60 for a card battler game, especially when so many of them, like Hearthstone or whatever, are free to play. Even Magic. Project Cars 2 is on sale. Jurassic World is on sale. Here's Civ 6. We were talking about you, Civ 6. Rocket League's usually around. Obra Dinn's back up here because it's on sale. And congrats to Lucas Pope on all of the victories. He cleaned up in the awards at GDC. It sounds like he also did well at the awards at the BAFTAs. So yeah, congrats and well deserved. This game is so innovative and unique. Can't wait to see what he does next. Black Desert Online is usually around. Path of Exile is usually around. Grim Dawn is on the decline. It's usually around somewhere. I wonder if something happened that spiked them up a bit. Final Fantasy is usually around. Planet Coaster's on sale. Devil May Cry came out not too long ago, so it's not too surprising. Frostpunk's just on sale. All of these are up here because they're on sale. Skylines creeping back in. Might have been something that happened because now it's declining. More stuff on sale. War Thunder's usually around. Assassin's Creed Odyssey was in the charts, and then now it's even higher just because it's on sale. Overcooked on sale. Shadows Awakening must have had some event or something. It's trailing off. Islanders. All right, yeah, I heard about this recently. Let's check this out. This is an interesting new game. This is another, I'm going to call it Tom Francis style of trailer, where it's just the developer talking to you, explaining how it works. I do think that it's a mistake to make you have to abandon your previous island and then move on to the next one. It's a unique kind of gameplay, but it's one of the things that makes city builders work so well is that you have really long sessions and you get really attached to that thing that you're building. So having to reset over and over again means that people are going to drop off much more easily, be less likely to replay, that sort of thing. But obviously it's working despite that.
We hope that Islanders is one.
Yeah, I think it's only $5, which is crazy. So you could get this for $5. All right, let's keep rolling. We're in the low 40s here. So Gungeon, they just had a big update and I guess a sale as well. Steel Division 2. Okay, so it's coming out in May. Wow, it's already in the charts even though it's coming out in May. Let's check this out. See, this kind of game might also benefit from a Tom Francis trailer. Top wish list, let's see what's new. I think Master Chief Collection was in there the last time we Clark tanked. Well, Dwarf Fortress, we talked about previously. It's cool that it's climbing up. So Sinking City, I think this one also is going to be exclusive on Epic Store. And you can see it's not hurting its wish list. Same with Industries of Titan. So that's an interesting thing. We saw with Industries of Titan, we announced that it's going to be on Epic Store exclusively for 12 months. And I expected our wish lists to decline because some people would be like, well, I'm not interested in waiting for 12 more months or something like that. I'm going to remove it from the wish list. And we did see a decline, some removals for sure. But yeah, we saw more people adding it than people removing it. And now we're back to about where we were before. But just the extra awareness that we got from people talking about Industries of Titan, that outweighed the negatives. So yeah, there's a lot of people that are out there upset about the Epic Store and things like that. And again, I understand why, but it just shows that they are a vocal group of folks and that there are many, many other people out there who are not saying anything. They're just silently wishlisting it and being like, yep, I'll wait. That looks interesting to me, or I'll buy it on the Epic Store. They're just not riled up enough to say like, yeah, I'll wait. They're not getting out there in their thousands saying, I'll wait, because they're not upset. And that's not to say that we should ignore those people's concerns, and we definitely are not. We want to make the game as good as we can for them, and hopefully we can convince them that this was the right move for the game. And yeah, we're going to do our best to show that when we launch it. Cool. All right, so next up we check out the new and trending to make sure that we didn't miss anything cool, and we did. Superland. What the heck is that? All right, well, let's check out Superland. What are you? What? But it's talking about the size of different games. That's an interesting way of starting it. The graphics have some spots had a little bit of a Pikmin feel even. Just combining all of the Nintendo games. Wow, they have the pie chart. Look at this pie chart. I've never seen that before. They did a pie chart for, you know, how much exploration, fighting, and puzzle the game is. That is super clever. Genre. There's some fighting. There's about as much exploration as there is puzzles. Now you have a good idea if this game is for you or not. Wow. Alright, Mars Tactical Base Defense. What are you? No, we don't want to watch the stream. What? Oh, there's zombies. Mars zombies? Why not? Graphics look pretty nice. Yeah. Huh. So yeah, this is not doing it's doing reasonably well, but not super well if it you know, came out in early access and took a while to gather this many reviews. But yeah, people still like zombies, I think. All right, we got to keep going so we can play some Risk of Rain. All right, the Hypestagram. What's been happening since GDC and PAX? Well, even better than this is Harbor's chart. Now, yeah, we're about where we usually are for the last few months or so. It's weird that it's so volatile. We haven't really seen these kinds of big bumps in previous years. Like this tan color, or whatever color you call this, is now, and the blue is 2017, and this is 2018. So again, we always say whenever we look at this chart, like the Indiepocalypse, it's not just going up and to the left. It's not just to infinity and beyond with all the games that are coming out on Steam. It has definitely flatlined, and we're below where we were last year. Okay, so now we have an idea of, you know, how much competition we're up against, and so we always check the what's on Steam micro trailers just quickly to see, you know, what kind of quality are these competitors that we're up against. Not my car. Oh yeah, I heard about this. I think some streamers that I follow were doing a paid promo of this. It's like a car-based battle royale. All right, let's watch the trailer for this because I haven't actually watched it. Okay, so it's like Carmageddon battle royale maybe. All right, let's do the Kickstarter report. Quickly check out what's going on Kickstarter, then we'll play some Risk of Rain. All right, what's going on Kickstarter? So, Subverse, explore a wacky galaxy full of hot alien babes in this kinky new sci-fi RPG mashup. I am not gonna watch the trailer of that. It might be X-rated, but holy smokes, £300,000. So like on Patreon, like sexy games like this do really well, and I guess they do well on Kickstarter too. It's still got 26 days to go. Calico, magical girls running cat cafes. That sounds cool. Already funded as well. That's good to see. 25 days to go. Firmament from Cyan, the studio that brought you Myst. Oh, really? Comes a next generation narrative adventure. Whoa, okay, we gotta watch this one. We've already made $500,000. So Myst style games, can they succeed in the current market? I think Kickstarter is an intelligent thing to do for all the people who, fondly recall Myst. But I do think adventure games, you know, have been, you know, steadily on the decline for many, many years. That's good that Abduction did well enough that they can keep going.
Been amazing. We're so.
It definitely helps if you're the creator of Myst.
If we weren't excited about it before.
But there have been some games from old famous developers that have flopped. Dungeons and Doom Knights 8-bit adventure quest for the NES. These people are crazy that do these things. Wait, is there no trailer? There's no trailer. How did they get 31,000 with no video? How many individual backers do they have? 400. Because sometimes you'll see one backer that pledged, you know, like $10,000 or something like that, but they have quite a few. What does that mean? That each, how much they pledged each? Close to $100 each, so it's a bit high. So yeah, that makes it slightly suspicious. We should follow up with this one, see if it's still in the top charts at Kickstarter when we come back in 21 days, do our next Clark Bank. It is time now for some Risk of Rain. I'm extremely pumped. I love the first one so much. And you know, these graphics, they're nice, but they're not amazing. Whoa. And it just shows, like, maybe you don't... If that's not the core selling point of your game, I feel like the density of loot is lower so far in this, or maybe I'm just not understanding where to find it. I see something blue over there. Alright, starting to get the hang of it a bit. Yeah, definitely easier with the mouse and keyboard here. Ah, I shot it in the ground. Oh, I didn't mean to roll towards it. What do we get? Heal all nearby allies after standing still for 2 seconds, so that's nice. Did we kill everything? Teleporters in this game are a bit hidden, yeah. I forgot you have to fight the boss thing after you click the gates. Ah! Ow! 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 Run! Oh man! Wow, that got nasty real quick. Run around looking for chests. Yeah, I should probably be running more. That first round, I was just getting acclimated to everything. So we'll see if we can find more stuff this time. Sorry, sir, I didn't mean to summon you. Oh, this is not going well. Oh, who's shooting me? Holy crap. I guess I should focus on these ranged guys who are beating on me. Ah, and I should run. Dang! That went much worse. Do the work for me, gun turrets. Die, please. Are you dead? Can we leave now? Chance on kill to drop ammo. Okay. We did it! Oh man, no time to celebrate apparently. We got through one. Whoa, where'd these guys come from? You guys are strong. Ah. I think we should get out of here. I don't like you guys. Oh crap. We need to buy more stuff. We're running into more of these guys. This is great. Oh, not the explodey thing. Ah, why am I going backwards? So we can get another jump. Did we pick it up or we have to go over there and pick it up? 4 or 5 jumps. Oh, it's not good to jump straight up. Yeah. Risk of Rain 2, it is almost exactly the same as the first game. It's fun. I like it. And it would actually be really fun with friends, and I'm sure you'd have an easier time finding the exits that way as well. But yeah, it's amazing how similar that feels to Risk of Rain. Although I've heard a lot of people say that they didn't really like the first one, but they like this one. Which maybe it just means they don't like 2D combat, because otherwise the mechanics are very, very similar. I felt like this was a bit slower in that I had a harder time finding where the exit was. It's a little easier, at least in my brain, to understand 2D levels. There's fewer variables. There's one whole fewer dimension. But yeah, why do we think that this is selling so well? Yeah, Gray, that's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say the majority of people prefer 3D to 2D. These days, especially younger folks, like those of us who are older, 2D is not, a stigma. To us, 2D is cool. Like, oh, I would, makes you remember the good old days. But to a lot of people, 2D is just like old garbage that your dad tried to make you play or something like that. And so I do think that they're just reaching an entirely new audience now that they wouldn't have reached before. But yeah, my take on this one is that it's never great to do, a direct indie sequel if, people didn't finish the content of the original one. I do think a lot of people did probably finish the content of the first one. But also, this is not a direct indie sequel. It's appealing to an entirely new audience because of the 3D nature of it. And I think that it's the type of game that a lot of people streamed the original Risk of Rain and probably blew through all of the content. And so as soon as something like this comes out, if it does well with their audience, then they're likely to pick it up. Also something that they can play with other streamers too. So worth mentioning that Risk of Rain 2 went on sale while being shown during Gearbox Borderlands 3 reveal event. Oh, Gearbox is publishing it. Ah, I see. I did not know that. Borderlands players like co-op shooters too, yeah. Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that they were publishing it. It makes a lot of sense. It's a good fit for that team. Well, it's cool to see smallish indie dev teams doing so well, and like we talked about earlier, it just shows you don't need a giant team in order to have outsized success. And Megacrit is another example that they're not a giant team, but have had a really successful game. So I think most of the folks that watch Clark Tank are small streams, so small developers. So definitely take heart. It is possible to do extremely well. But yeah, thanks so much for joining me, chums. We'll see you in 3 weeks. Thanks for watching. See you soon.